working full-time as a staff chaplain in Chicago and also serving as a reserve naval chaplain.
Man, Ernie,
So-
you should be tired.
Well, you know, as I look back on that, I really don't see how I was
you
able
did
to
it.
do all of that, but I know it was by the grace of God.
When did your music come back
Well,
in?
see-
Because I'm like, okay, when do you sleep? When do you eat? Now, when did your music?
All right, after retirement, I was not quite as busy
Okay.
as I was when I was serving as a full-time chaplain and
Wow.
reserve chaplain. So I said I need to do something else with some time that I have. So I decided to learn the saxophone. I didn't tell you this, but my major instrument, my only instrument at the time, was the clarinet.
Oh, I was
So-
going to ask you what instruments did you play?
Yeah, so I decided that I wanted to learn the saxophone. I've always wanted to really play the saxophone because when I started out in the band in high school, I wanted to play saxophone, and the band director said, I need clarinets, and I need you to play the
Oh,
clarinet. And he said, if you want to play the saxophone later, you can learn it. But I never did really learn it until 2001. I decided to buy a saxophone, and I bought my first saxophone in 2001, and I practiced and practiced until
You took I mean, wait, you so kind of did this yourself? You didn't have a teacher
No,
teaching
no,
you?
no.
So oh, wow.
There's some similarity now between the clarinet and the saxophone. So it's not just
Well, they're
like-
reed instruments,
they're
right?
reed instruments. The fingering is practically the same.
Okay.
The embouchure is different. That is the
Well, saxophone though
precision.
has a richer, deeper melodic sound to me because I love the saxophone, especially in jazz. I think a lot of jazz musicians use that particular instrument because of that melodic, kind of almost mournful sometimes, but I really
You're
think
right,
of it as
you're right.
melodic.
It is. You're right. It has that rich,
Very satiny, very
and
dreamy.
especially the soprano sax. I play both the soprano, I play the three saxophones: soprano, alto, and tenor, and each has its own place in music. For the tone quality, for some tone qualities, I use the soprano, and for others, I use the alto, and then still others, I use the tenor.
And so this was in, I think you said 2001 that you picked up the instrument again, and it happened to be the soprano saxophone.
Yeah, I wanted to learn the soprano, and then I gravitated to the alto.
And what went on from there? I think you have a leader, a partner of yours named Bud that came into the picture.
Oh yeah. Well, when I first started practicing, I know I must have sounded horrible to my poor wife.
Oh, you didn't
but-
tape yourself?
but she put up with me for about a couple of years, and then I felt bold enough to play in some churches, and people would tell me that it sounded good, and of course I thought they were just being benevolent. You know?
Oh, yes.
And then, but it was encouraging, and then I would practice some more, get some more pieces, and then I was bold enough to play in some of the festivals that we had
Really?
around the city, and so before I knew it, people were inviting me to play for different parties, for festivals, and for family reunions, for weddings.
Weddings? I was gonna say,
Oh
did
yeah,
you pay
oh
for-
yeah, I love weddings. Those are my favorite ones.
Wow. And you know, now since I think this would be probably a good spot for us to go into commercials, so because I want to hear some of that. I think you have two pieces.
I have two CDs.
Two CDs.
I've produced two CDs within the last 2 years.
Okay.
One is all gospel and spiritual, spiritual sort of blended in with jazz, and then I have a.
That's a unique sound.
Mm-hmm. And I have a all Christmas music. It's entitled "Sounds of Christmas."
Wow.
And
because in fact, I think we played one of your pieces at the beginning of the show. What was that called? What was the title of that piece?
That was "Do You Hear What I Hear?"
Wow.
Yeah, do you hear what I hear?
That is awesome. Well, I think this is just a good point. Let's make a break here. I want you have two pieces that you would like. Let's introduce these two pieces that you would like to do for us.
I'm going to "Trust in the Lord." That is the first piece. And then "I Want Jesus to Walk with Me."
Well, I think this is a part that we need to just pause, go into commercial, and when we come back, we're going to hear some of this lovely music by Ernie. Sounds good. Yes, I can't wait to hear you play.